Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC Guy. In a number of recent videos, I've shown you how to install lighting for your cabooses and passenger cars and brake vans and any other rolling stock that you might want to add lighting to. And as part of that process, I've shown you several different ways that basically you can make your own power pickups for your wheels. But people keep asking me to come up with something that's commercially available so they don't have to try to cobble together some kind of track pickups using brass wire or bronze wire or sheet material, anything like that. So I've done some digging around and I finally came up with something, and it works very well. So stick around for the video and you'll see how to install these on your rolling stock. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with a look at what's available as far as track power pickups for your rolling stock. Now what I did was I did some searching around and I came up with this product from ESU, the makers of LokSound. And let me also point out that DCC Concepts makes a product almost identical to this. Now this particular one I found, I purchased from Streamlined Back Shop here in the United States, and it's readily available, you know, in Europe and England and the UK as well. And it's fairly inexpensive. The product number is 50707, and as I say, it's made by ESU. You get 8 power pickups in each set, and I paid $8.95 for 8 of them, so they're a little over $1 each. So, you know, they're not cheap, but they're not going to empty your wallet or your checking account too quickly unless you've got, you know, 100 cabooses that you want to light up. But at any rate, what I want to do now is zoom in here on the workbench, and I'll show you those products, and we'll take a look at how to install them on one of my cabooses. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the video here. So as I said, it's number 50707. Made by ESU, and you should be able to find that at any dealer in the world that carries ESU LokSound products. So this should be readily available, and you can see they call it an interior lighting current collector. Okay, and it's they say that it will work with NTTHOOG gauge 1 and whatever that one is 2. I would also throw in 00, since there's a lot of UK guys watching this, because there's not much difference between HO and 00. At any rate, what these things consist of here, and let me zoom in just a little bit more for you. Okay, I'll see if I can hold this still. What it is, it's a small little piece of circuit board material, I believe, and it's got 2 little bronze or brass wings here that are soldered to it, and a couple of solder pads. So it's very straightforward. For an HO scale caboose truck, all you do is you can, let me slide this in here. Okay, get it in here. There. Okay, so basically then you've got the wipers here up against the back sides of the wheels. So they're picking up from both wheels. So you're simultaneously picking up power from both tracks. You're not limited in that respect. So it gives you very good power pickup. And you can just glue this to the bottom of the truck once you install the truck on your passenger car or caboose. And the problem I found with that, though, is that it means you're never going to be able to take this truck off again because you can't get to the screw underneath of the little circuit board. So I decided that, now for some people that might not be a problem, because you can glue this on with super glue and then slide a number 11 knife blade under here and just pop this guy right off. However, what I decided to do was something a little bit different. And let me show you one of those that I've installed already. What I did was I cut the little circuit board in half and trimmed it back to the metal, and then I installed each half on each side, leaving the screw clear. And that way I was able to adjust the little wipers so they sit against the back of the wheels still and pick up power. I glued the circuit boards to the bottom of the truck using epoxy cement, and you could use super glue, I'm sure, because there's very little pressure on these. They'll stick fairly well, and I'll use super glue here in a minute when I show you how I do this. And then all you have to do is solder your two wires. These are flexible wires left over from decoder installations, so just save those and use them. They're probably about a 30 gauge wire or 28, something in that realm. And then they just run up through holes in the bottom of the caboose and come up here, as you can see, and run down to the circuit board, the two prongs, legs, on the bridge rectifier here as part of my circuit. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to put this, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. There we go. And we'll put this on the track. Okay, so now we've got power on the track, and you can see it's doing a very good job of picking up power. There's a little flicker right now because it's still charging that capacitor here, but it's going to light up and it gets very stable very quickly here. So they do a very good job of power pickup. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is pop these wheels out to get them out of the way. And I'm going to take one of these sanding sticks, and I'm going to go around the back of each wheel, and I'm just going to give it a light sanding just to make sure that we have a good clean surface that we're going to be picking up power off of. Okay, so there, that one's done. I did the other one previously just so that we wouldn't take all day doing sanding. Now another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sand the bottom of the cross member here on the truck where I'm going to be gluing on this particular pickup. And that's just, so that the glue will have a better chance of holding when we attach these. Now, as I said, and as I showed, I went ahead and I cut these in half. So let's zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this little guy in half using my Xuron track cutters that I showed you in a previous video. And it's very simple. You just put it right here at the edge of the solder mark. Cup it so you won't lose it because it's going to pop apart. And there we've got one trimmed to go into the installation. Now that leaves the other one with the remainder of the circuit board attached. So we're going to need to clip that one off as well. So I'm going to just slide it in here like that. And we're going to cut it off. Bing. It went into a low Earth orbit there. Okay, so now we have both of these free and clear, and they are ready to be attached. Well, let's make one adjustment. Because I'm going to be reversing the placement of these, I'm going to go ahead and bend the pickups this direction, okay? Because they're going to be placed on the trucks like this in order to pick up power. Okay, because I'm reversing their location, or position as it were. Okay, so this one on this side is going to be need to be bent in that way to make contact with the back of the wheel. So I'm just going to bend that with my finger just by holding it with these little teeny tiny pickups that I showed you recently, or forceps, and I'm just going to bend that in there so that it's going to be rubbing against the back side of the wheel once it's installed. Okay. When you get ready to do your installations, you may need to be very flexible about how you set this up, because you might have a truck that's wider longer this way. If it's a passenger truck, it's going to be longer. And you might be able to install these directly as they are designed to be used without making these kind of modifications. At one point, I also thought about installing these onto a small piece of styrene and mounting them using the actual screw itself. What I want to do now is, I've got my, I'm going to zoom back out again. I have my little shot glass and my super glue here, so I'm going to put some super glue in the depression. And let's go ahead and install them. So I've got a little bit of super glue here, and I'm going to rub it on, apply it right there. And we'll go ahead and install this guy here. Like that. And we'll apply some to the other side. Like that. And install this guy. So now you can see the final assembly here where I've got the two pieces that I cut out or separated mounted on the bottom of the truck. And as soon as that has dried, I'm going to go ahead and install these wheels back in place, and we'll go ahead and install it on the caboose. Now, as you can see, that super glue has set up. I'm going to go ahead and install this other wheel in here. So now I've got the wheels installed here, and you can see it's we've got it turning. We have got pickup. You can see the springy action. You want them to be you want the wheels to be basically centered when you're done. Okay, so there we have it installed on here. And you know, if I wasn't shooting this video, it wouldn't take me more than a couple of minutes to do each one of these wheel sets. I want to go ahead and install it on the caboose, and we'll go ahead and finish the installation. Now on this one, I've got the pickups facing towards the inside, so let's repeat that, and I'll show you why in just a second. So let's get it on the mounting platform here, and need to drop a screw in place. There. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drive that home and just leave it a little loose so that the truck rotates freely. You don't want any binding action there. And there's not going to be that much movement, so there's not that much tension and pressure on either the springs or the wires. So let's go ahead, and I want to show you about installing the wires. To do that, I'm going to have to take my pin vise drill bit that I showed you in a recent video on 10 essential tools. And right here at the base of the truck, I'm going to drill a hole right through the bottom and up into the caboose interior, and another one right here. Okay, there, that's cleaned out. And so that gives me two holes here and one here, just below the pickups for my bridge rectifier. So let me go ahead and get my soldering iron set up here, and we'll get started with making the final connection. Okay, so just like on the other truck, I'm going to place, a gray wire on this side and a white wire on this side, just so that I don't get them mixed up. You could use any color. These are not going to be readily visible because they're, behind the wheels and beside the trucks and the whole 9 yards. So they're not all that visible. So all I'm going to do, there's a pad of solder already here. I'm just going to go ahead and touch right here and attach my wire. Okay, and we got that ready to go. So I'm just going to feed it right on down through one of those, through the hole here. There we go. And we'll pull it on down and get it ready to use in a minute. Okay, so now that's down there. Let's do the white wire on the other side. Okay, so that one's done, and we can feed it down through the other hole. And pull it up, or pull it through into the interior of the caboose. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull up just a little bit, right like this, and have it off to the side so that it can move freely in here. Okay, now let's look at the other side. So as you can see, we've got the two wires coming up, ready to be attached to the bridge rectifier. Now it's very important that you make sure that you attach the wire from the whichever is the right side to the same input on the bridge rectifier. If you get these mixed up, you're going to get a dead short as soon as you put it on the track. So don't do that. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and cut these and strip them off camera, and we'll be back in a second to finish the job. Okay, so I've gone ahead and stripped the insulation off the two wires. So let's go ahead and tin those very quickly here, and they'll be ready to hook up to the circuit. I went ahead and twisted these two wires together, so let me go ahead and attach it now. Okay, so that one's attached. Now I'll go ahead and do the other one, the gray one. Okay, I'm going to turn it that way so I can get to it easier. Okay, so you can see we've got a good connection both sides here, and the wheel rotates freely. So that's all there is to it. And I said the big difference is you're picking up power from the backs of each wheel, and it doesn't matter what the axle is doing because you don't have to worry about the axle. Okay. Okay, let me set her back up on the track and we'll see how she lights up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add power now, and there you go. So it's doing great now. Excuse me, so it's doing great now. It's got power pickup from 4 wheels. So there you go. It's a fairly inexpensive, easy solution, something you can do, in just a few minutes for your rolling stock once you build this little circuit. So have a good week, and we'll see you again on Friday with another video. Bye now.